Welcome! If you got here, I guess you already know what WebXR is. But if you don't, WebXR is a web API that adds to web browsers VR or AR capabilities depending on the device and browser in use. In this Getting Started guide, we'll see how to use the latest versions of WebXR export with Unity and XR Interaction Toolkit. In the end of this video, you'll be able to build the same demo that you see now. If you want to use WebXR in your game jam project, this is the place to start. We'll start with a Unity 2022.3 project. We've already imported Unity's OpenXR, XR Hands, and XR Interaction Toolkit packages. The samples of those packages are already imported as well, and we imported the Universal Render Pipeline package and converted graphics rendering settings and materials to URP. As you can see, it all works in the Unity editor, but how can we export it to the web browser? Here comes WebXR Export, a set of two packages that adds WebXR support to Unity. You can sponsor this project if you want to support it. That would help me to get more devices to test and develop WebXR export. But let's go back to the repository and look at the downloads section. We'll import the packages using OpenUPM. We'll go to Edit, Project Settings, Package Manager, and we will copy the relevant details. Name, URL, and scope. You can see here that in Package Manager window, we have Packages, My Registries. We go to Install WebXR Export. And WebXR Interactions. Now we need to configure WebXR Export. We go to Window, WebXR, copy WebGL templates, edit, project settings, input system packages, create setting assets, and background behavior should be ignore focus. In XR plugin management, we want to go to the web section, initialize XR on startup is enabled, and plugin providers, we have WebXR export. We can have a quick look on the WebXR settings. We see that we are using local floor for AR and VR settings in the required reference space. Then we go to player settings, resolution and presentation. We will set it to 700 and 400 width and height, and we will select WebXR 2020 as our WebGL template. Then we can go to publishing settings, and my server and GitHub have their own compression. So if we are using a compression format, it won't work on those cases. But other sites and hostings may support it. So if you are uploading to itch.io or other hosting service, you can enable it. From here, we can build. File, build settings. If you are targeting mobile, it's better to set texture compression to ASTC. And when constantly building the project, I'm using shorter build time for code optimization. But as it's less optimized, but it builds faster. And once I want to release the project, I'm using runtime speed. And we can click build. But I will use the magic of I already built it, and we will run the build. So as you can see here, we have the project. I'm running it with the Chrome extension of Immersive Web Emulator. And the web emulator helps me to debug the project on desktop without using VR device, the VR headset. So we'll go to more tools, developer tools, and we can see here the debug view of the WebXR immersive web emulator. I'm using stereo mode to see both eyes, and we can click VR. Okay, now we can see what works and what doesn't. So as you could see before, camera doesn't track in VR. So how can we fix it? We need to update XR origin to floor. This is under XR interaction setup. We have the XR origin. You can see it has camera offset. We'll copy this value and set tracking origin mode to floor. We set camera offset, reset it, and instead we'll add the offset to the main camera itself. Also, to some bugs with tracked pose driver related both to Unity and WebXR export, we'll remove the tracked pose driver of input system, and we'll add tracked pose driver, the legacy one. And now we can go to save, build settings, and we can build. And of course, I already built it, so we can go to the next sample. Developer tools, WebXR, and we can enter VR. And now we actually in VR, we can see what works, what doesn't. We can move. We can even try to climb the ladder, and we can fall, and we can exit VR. Okay, so it works, but it's still missing some good stuff. Okay, so let's import WebXR XR Interaction Toolkit sample. It's in Package Manager. Under WebXR Interactions, we have samples, and here we can import the XR Interaction Toolkit sample. Let's add the scene additive. And that way we can move the XR interaction WebXR setup to the demo scene from the XR interaction toolkit samples. We'll discard the changes to WebXR interaction toolkit sample and remove the scene. And now we can compare both setups. Okay, we see here that the origin here is so let's copy component, paste component values, we want to copy the values from the main camera as well, and now we can disable this object for now. We disable the XR Interaction Toolkit setup, XR Interaction setup, and now we can build. Of course, I already built it, so let's try the next setup, and developer tools, and we can enter VR. So what do we have here? We see that we have the scene working, but we regressed a little. Some stuff doesn't work, like the vignette, and if I try to climb the ladder, I don't have gravity, but if I switch to hands, I have hands tracking. So let's get back to the editor. Now we need to re-enable some XR Interaction Toolkit stuff. First, the vignette. It's under the main camera. We can duplicate it with Ctrl D, and we can move it to the camera in the WebXR setup. Okay, and for gravity, we want to set the move object. You can see here that it doesn't use gravity, so let it use gravity. We need to set the forward source, which is the main camera, and the head transform, which is also the main camera. We can save the scene, and we want to add some other cool stuff. We'll add the input profiles loader from package manager. Once the WebXR input profiles loader is imported, we need to add shaders variants for the models of the controllers to load properly. We do this by going to the WebXR input profiles path, Under it we have runtime and shader variants. We can select between built-in render pipeline, legacy URP, or URP. And by going to the docs of GLTFast, in the project setups, we can here see the shader graphs under runtime shader for universal render pipeline 12 or newer. Those are the shaders that we need. So this is the URP one, and as we have here in the project Universal Render Pipeline 14, we go to Edit, Project Settings, Graphics. We have preloaded shaders, and we can drag the URP to the preloaded shaders. And we can build. And of course, I already built it. So all developer tools. We have WebXR, and let's open it in VR. And we see that it loaded the Quest 3 controllers because we are in Quest 3 mode in the immersive web emulator. And if we try to move, we have the vignette tunneling, and if we try to climb the ladder, we can fall down. Great! Now we want to add some more cool stuff, WebXR specific stuff, as we want to show different users how it looks from our view or spectator mode. Let's see how we do that. We'll open scene additive, the WebXR Interaction Toolkit setup, and we want to move the canvas, the spectator camera holder, and the WebXR modes notifier to our new scene. We'll remove the no, we won't remove it yet. We'll discard changes. And we want to set the canvas camera. It should be the main camera, and we want to edit the spectator camera position, and give it 5, 3, 5, 3. Oh, and we can see here scene In the game panel, we'll disable the camera again, and we want in the canvas to reference the input profiles objects. So let's see what it is here. We see the left controller model and right controller model, so we want to do the same in our new scene. It's here we have left controller model and right controller model, and we want to set it like this and like this. And yes, this is the same. We can remove the scene, we can save the new scene, and we can build. And sure, I already built it, but now I want to use my headset instead of the emulator. So let's open it and enable spectator camera so you will be able to see what I'm doing. So yeah, you can see me. And I'm moving. And climb. Okay, that's it.